Well, I want to apologize right off the bat for this black bar that will be remaining on the television screen throughout the course of this discussion. There's no way my technology can help it. We'll just have to bear with it. Still visual continuity from scene to scene, signified by the eyeline match and neat transition. Of course, that can only be achieved with its lack of an establishing shot. Throughout the scene, the only audible sound is the straight, direct dialogue, speaking of which this discourse about death is continued. With medium shot, Vittorio Accattone is consuming, like the moocher that he is, and speaking to someone seemingly behind the director of photography, so the 180-degree rule is disqualified from use in our discussion. From the rest of our piece, I will discuss. All the available lighting is completely natural, emanating from the sun. The shadow on his chest creates an image, a metonym if you want, of a vest, which would be proper dining apparel. However, Accattone's case, the shadow is just a shadow, and the poverty-stricken bastard isn't even wearing a goddamn shirt. The director, Pier Paolo Pasolini, was homosexual though, so whatever. He's eating with his friggin' hands. For a first-time viewer, whatever character this is being established here, is being established as a dirty pauper. I mean, look. Cowlick. Alright, enough of that. Now we see another figure of this implied table talking from the same axis of action as Vittorio. It's another medium shot, as every preceding shot in the scene will be, of another consumer of food, and likely welfare if it existed there. Of course, Vittorio is speaking to someone in front of him, and this guy here is chiming from the side, signaling that he may be interrupting. In Italian culture, speaking from experience, that's commonplace and acceptable, however. Either way, we'll call this guy the interrupter. Again, you can see a heart-shaped necklace or locket here, much like the one Vittorio was wearing, and we'll soon see in the shots of his other buddies. You can call that a little unspoken motif if you'd like to. Maybe you need one of those little articles of jewelry to be in the circle of friends, who knows? On the subject of life and death, the interrupter broaches money, lira, as to imply that money has a higher value than life in their culture, perhaps. We revisit Vittorio, who follows suit in this discourse about money and gambling, typical poor people talk. But I want to call to mind something about the mise-en-scène. Now notice in the background where Vittorio is in position to the bridge in the background behind him. It looks almost like the arch of the bridge is drawn parallel to the arch in Accattone's back, with his disdainful scoliosis-like posture. He is a bum. Is Pasolini suggesting that our protagonist is carrying the burden of economy and all the hardships of industry on his back? Maybe. Maybe he's just pointing out that Accattone has an uncanny resemblance to a troll. Now we have yet another buddy who looks like Al Pacino wearing a striped shirt. We'll call this guy Stripey Pacino. By this time, it's clear that there's no specific indication of where people are sitting at this table. The side Stripey is sitting on separates him from the others, however. Stripey apparently cannot afford napkins, so he wipes food on his wrist. He wants to know who Tone will leave his Madalena to, connoting that women are items or commodities. That was a big Central and Southern Italian patriarchal view then, as much as I hate to admit it. Again, right back to Vittorio. Very nice food coming out of his mouth. Sloppy, careless dining habits epitomizing his sloppy lifestyle. His use of the term vice for Madalena suggests his displeasure with her, or coming of knowledge implicitly of what kind of character she is. Later on we'll find out that she's a prostituta. Now this guy here thinks he knows how to set up a funeral. He claims to be educated, yet he's so smart that he's got these guys as friends. Now look what he's doing with his hands. You see that? It's like he's conducting an orchestra. Is he the leader and his friends are the followers? Do we see an element of performance to Vittorio? Is he lying about what he's saying about wanting people to laugh at his funeral and really does care about life? Don't know. Anyone who cries pays for the drinks. Again, language about money, the evidential highest value at stake. Again, back to this guy. You can see his background is more open and throwaway. We see some beautiful landscape of Rome. Maybe that's just marked to indicate where the story is unfolding, since there has not yet been any givens as to where the location is. He laughs. Try it yourself, he wants on his epitaph, signaling disregard for other human life. Another way to put that is, if I die, what do I care about you? And that'll take us to our next scene.